Hi guys, took the Barbie Jeep out for a run yesterday and it was low powered and squeaking terribly. Appears to be something wrong with the back axle. Now part of it might be that I clamp it all in place round there and round there with a zip tie just to hold it in place, and I may have done it up too tightly and it may have actually been putting some pressure on the back axle. But what I'm going to do anyway is take the back axle assembly apart and have a look inside, because it's quite interesting the way it goes together. I've already taken the wheels off. I say interesting to me, probably boring to most people. Right, started taking it apart already. These back axle stubs are, I assume that's nylon or something like that, that sit on a hexagonal shaft, and the only thing that holds them in place is that little plastic washer that sits on the inside of here. We'll see better when I take the cover off, but it's just that little bit that's holding the shaft in place on either end. Location washer, something like that. Anyway, we'll see better when I take the top off. I must have taken this apart in the past at some time, well, because I changed the motor. So there must be a video of this on my channel somewhere. I don't like taking this type of plastic gearbox apart because it's held together with little clips and they usually snap and you're stuck because you can't put it back together again. What you can do, and I have done in the past, is bound wire around it to clamp it together on this sort of gearbox. So I've already eased this side up. These need to come over. Need to get this one apart. Okay. Don't think there's any more screws in it. Oh, there's one in there on that side. Oh. Right, okay, well a bit fell on the floor, which we'll have a look at in a minute. Okay, I'll just pick up the bit that fell on the floor before I lose it. Right, so if we turn this the other way up, that fits there like that. That which is what I was struggling with last night when I looked at it and decided to do a video. Seems to be out of alignment, because I can't get that in far enough to get into the where it should go. That one's got slack in it. It looks like the shaft has moved along on that gear, because we've got slack there and we can't push that one on far enough. So somehow or other this gear has moved along a little bit. How is that even possible? But yeah, that I can't even see what I'm talking about. That won't go on far enough to go into there. Whereas that end, it's got... Yeah, that's sitting in its little ridge, okay, but this one won't go in far enough. So somehow or other this has slipped along. I'll tap it with a hammer and a bit of wood. Right, bit of wood with a hole in it. Take that off. And this has got to go along that way. Just a couple of millimeters. So I'll put that in there and give it a little tap on the end. Well, that actually moved along quite easily. I thought it was going to be hard. So that definitely moved along there with no trouble at all. So is that one still going to fit? That's in there. It's got a little bit of a flat side on it. I don't know if that's broken or whether there's a keyway for it. There's a little bit of plastic. Oh no, that's a bit of spare plastic. Right, talk to myself for a few seconds while we align this. Seems to be in place okay now. Maybe at some time or other it's landed on its side and pushed that along a little bit. That seems to be okay now. That seemed to be too far down the shaft. Okay, we seem to be all back together now. Yeah, just a little bit of movement there. Right, well, that's interesting in that I was going to look in there the other day because I was going to actually change the motor, and then decided it wasn't the motor that was the problem, it was the battery and the ESC. Because I think I replaced that motor probably a few years ago now with one that I had spare, and I think the original motor that was in there was probably a 12 volt motor, and I think that one's probably a 24 volt at least. because it ran very slowly with the 3S battery that I was using. So the last episode I upped it to a 5S and it went much better, but then we started squeaking. So I don't know what the squeaking was all about, but it could just have been that gear had somehow or other been moved along the axle by about 2 millimeters. And now we appear to be okay. So back together. There's plenty of grease on there, so I'm not going to spray any more on there. Oh, I could actually. I've got some lithium grease here. Which obviously I had there ready to use and I had forgotten. Being an old man, you do tend to forget things quite often. Or at least I do. Right, that should all go back together. It's got to go on there, nowhere else it can possibly go. Okay, all back together. Before I started this video, so these had actually popped out, those inner bits had popped out. So I'm going to wrap some wire around here just to make sure they can't pop out again. I'll put the screws back in first, but that's what we'll do. Right, don't need to watch me put the screws in. Right, back together. And I've put some garden binding twine or wire around there just to make sure they can't pop apart. Right, I'll put the wheels back on. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave us a comment so I know how I'm doing. And somewhere up here there'll be some links to related playlists. Thanks again.